what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave here at my house, and I'm going to look at the clock. It's 4 o'clock, and I'm going to drive to Home Depot, because I believe that, I'm suspecting that's where she left my home, and she was at the Home Depot parking lot in about 5 minutes, and we're going to see how long that takes. Right now it is 4 o'clock. It's actually 3:59 here on my dash. I'm looking at it, and I'm leaving my home right now. And so well, and then as we go, I'm going to show you some other thing. That's 4 o'clock right now. So and so I'm just going to drive normal. Like I said, we're on the phone talking, and she's driving to the oil show parties. And it was during that week, and I don't know if it was Tuesday or Wednesday, where she comes by one morning, and there was a oil show on the news or something, train wreck, whatever. She's interested in it. One thing I want to show you, we'll stop right here. See that box is a water well, empty lot right here, and I wonder if there's not one of them underground homes right there. It's a half block away, and this home right here on the right with the white on it, it's actually a different color. They whitewashed the brick because it had a mortar problem, like my home had a mortar problem. And remember, I was told there was 4 3-bedroom underground homes, and maybe one of the underground homes is there in that parking lot, and maybe underground access is that home, because I believe the mortar problem is caused from digging under the home, and it disturbed the foundation, which caused the brick mortar joints to break. Okay. Interestingly, a police officer lives right here, and that's at right around the corner. And that, I've only recently been seeing that police officer's car there within the last month or so, 2 months. All right, so we're going to Home Depot, and there's a couple of routes here. I could go this way, but I don't have a light, so I'm going to go on up here to St. Andrews, and this one will allow me to have a light where I turn on Midland Drive. I don't know how big the tunnels, how far they go. You know, obviously the 4 underground homes are connected with them, but I've had people tell me about tunnels all over Midland, Odessa. You know, and so I've even wondered, you know, wow, that'd be amazing if they did connect. You know, they were all connected together, or at least most of them were connected together. You know, that one guy recently gave me the address of a home that he said him and his friend went into, and went several miles in the direction of Home Depot, and there had rooms and beds and lighting, and you know, and I have that I'm posted on Facebook. And what's interesting, I looked up that address. He said was where the entrance was for that big tunnel there, and it looked like my former kidney doctor used to own that home. And that's interesting in itself, because that was a kidney doctor when I was ambushed and shot, when the ex-wife told me the secret is a group of doctors are killing people for profit. You know, that's a very big point. You know, I've long suspected that them doctors were connected to this. I mean, it's proven they faked my x-rays and other horrific medical crimes, but I've suspected they're involved in the planning and actually the murder attempt on my life, and so that would suggest they're connected with the underground homes, and you know, and then I think it's maybe illegal casino, brothel, money making underground, you know, crime deal. And when I was at the courthouse and I was looking up the property records for all the homes in my cul-de-sac, looking at who used to own the homes, the deed history, and there's only 9 homes there. And I went all the way back to the builder, and the builder was Tabor Construction, and so I googled them or whatever, and I noticed their address, their listed address, they're not in business anymore, was on Mark Lane. So just on a whim, I went and looked up, you know, that home on Mark Lane, and my ER doctor used to own that same home that the builder of my home, Tabor Construction, was at. And that's what made me wonder, my ER doctor might have known about these homes being rigged, and come to find out the ER doctor was the brother-in-law of my ex-wife. She never told me about, you know, while we were married. and she's the one that told me the secret is a group of doctors are killing people for profit. So I wondered if her brother-in-law, that ER doctor, knows something about these doctors that are killing people for profit, you know, and does he maybe know something about the underground homes and the crimes associated with that, you know. And so we're here at Midland Drive, and this, you know, we picked a long light, so that, you know, that's taken part of my 5 minutes up, you know, because I'm spent 5 minutes at the stoplight, but almost 5 minutes, but we'll be moving here sometime, I guess. There we go, finally. Because I want to show you how close this is. And I didn't know exactly, but what I do know is the phone records from my company's cell phone, 432, I think it's 209-6494, will show how long I was talking to Angie on the phone as she drove, you know, from my home over to where the parties were. And I believe where she was going was to the Home Depot parking lot, and that's where I'm going right now to time it, you know, because I want to see how long does it take to get from my home to the Home Depot parking lot, because that's the theory, and I'm going to do it while I'm doing it on camera, recorded on the dash cam. Okay, so where we're at right now is directly behind the Target. Notice on the left hand side is this dividing wall. Okay, you look straight ahead from Midland Drive, you can't see behind Home Depot. You know, see how it curves back there? So it's totally secluded. And you know, I think when I moved in, and before I moved in, and several years after, even after I shot, it looked like they were running a sex trafficking business, like a truck stop and lot lizards, and coordination with people in the attic, tunnels coming over here. These truckers were coming 24/7, and they wasn't unloading freight. The store wouldn't even be open a lot of times. It'd be the holidays, whatever. And we'll drive back there here in a minute when we leave. But we're here at the Home Depot parking lot, and it's 4:06. Okay, so that's what I said. It took about 5 minutes, you know, talking on the phone, and she was at the location of the party, you know. And keep in mind that one of these days she tells me about a young girl that was murdered at one of them oil show parties. Okay, so here's the Home Depot parking lot on the left. I was in here, and I was telling my story to a clerk in the Home Depot one day, and like I tell everybody, right? And just out of the blue, this clerk blurted out, "If you happen to see a lot of cars in the parking lot late at night, it's because we're stalking." You know, and I hadn't seen that, and I hadn't thought about it, you know, because I live on the other side of the building. But you know, when I thought that, it sounded like a clue. When I thought it out, I thought, you know, an oil show party would have a lot of people. They would need a lot of parking, and they would need some excuse to explain why you had a lot of cars. Okay, and I suspected that's what she was trying to tell me, is that that's what they were told to tell people that noticed there was a lot of cars in the parking lot late at night during these oil show parties. Okay, during these oil shows. Okay, we're gonna go behind the Home Depot store here and circle back around, and this is where I was with Homeland Security last year. I met them here at the Home Depot, and you know, he surprised me and says, "I don't know why you don't sell that house if you're under the threat of death," you know. And I had to explain the Hobbs Act to him, saying, you know, criminals can't work with law enforcement to terrorize homeowners into selling their property, you know. I mean, that's a crime. Yeah, it's 20 years in prison, you know. And you know, if you arrest the criminals, then nobody has to move, you know. But I was showing him that on the Google Maps from above, you look down, and it was real easy to tell the ground was cut. Looks like a tunnel was cut from Home Depot, and it was aimed directly at my house, you know. I mean, easy to see. And then about 2 weeks later, after showing them where I believe these, you know, the tunnel was going to my house, which is right back in this area. I'd have to, oh, there's the telephone pole. So my home's right to the right now. This whole the whole ground here was dug up, and they poured concrete. You know, I'm thinking, oh, they filled in the you know, they were filling in the human trafficking murder tunnels. Okay, here on the right, it looks like they put flags near the manholes. That's interesting too. Notice there's two side by side manholes. I don't know if you can see that, I'm gonna see that right there. Can you see the two? Somebody put flags down there, and also blue paint is on the curbs, looking like they marked it there. And you know, one of the manhole cover was off this west one for 2 or 3 years, and you know, I'm thinking that's where they're coming from my attic, coming down tunnel. They were servicing the truckers and going back up and running a 24/7 business. But it looks like there's this $1 million underground home in my backyard. That one even looks like it was dug out. So I'm looking at it right now. It looks like they've been digging over there. And you know, sadly, I wish I'd say, oh, well, maybe they're investigating, but I really think probably what's going on is more cover up, you know, covering up multiple murders, covering up the murder of the little girl, covering up the oil show parties, you know, covering up the, you know, the previous owner of my home. He died the week before the 2008 oil show started. You know, that was 2 years earlier. And you know, and then I move in and I'm the next unsuspecting victim, the next sucker or whatever. You know, and I was told, the ex-wife told me, you were chosen to buy this home. Well, that meant that, you know, whoever chose me, right, you know, that the crime started against me before I moved here. And looking back, I'm thinking, oh, that home in Hobbs was rigged. Because I'm now, you know, I was ambushed and shot with burglar alarms going off in my attic. And I've now documented homeowners all over Midland, Odessa, Texas, and multiple other states reporting people in the attic, you know. I mean, it's just, you know, it literally is nuts what's going on. They've rigged not just my home, but many homes with, and I believe it's hidden underground access, most of the time coming from a next door neighbor. They got a tunnel, goes over, comes up a modified wall with a hidden crawl space in there. They can come and go all they want. They can hack cameras, and you know, amazingly, it seems like that, you know, they have the press in America helping them cover up the evidence. You know, that all that what I just told you, and all these police scanner videos of homeowners reporting people in the attic. Not a single news story in the nation. You know, and it's believed to be connected with multiple murders. Here's the church, Fairmont Park Church of Christ on the right. Multiple times I saw, you know, large groups of police here. I've suspected maybe there were secret police connected with underground parties, etc. I've documented that. Asked if this church had a connection. You know, actually a law enforcement officer with the Ector County, he sent me a picture of this is another church building here on this side. He sent me a picture of this building right here, and told me to go snoop around here. A law enforcement officer told me to snoop around this church right here. You know, and which I never did, but there had to be a reason he did. We're going to go in the alley, okay? And I'm going to show you how close this is, because on the right-hand side is the Fairmont Park Church of Christ. This is my alley. Right straight ahead is that dividing wall that's between the Home Depot and the residential and the commercial. Okay. Now, another video, and I can't remember, 2016 it was, after midnight, my security cameras catch a guy being chased down the alley by a car. He's running as fast as he could, but as you can see, there's nowhere to go. He was trapped, and they were in a car. And then he throws his arms up in the air like they got a gun on him. They open up the trunk, put him in the trunk, and drive away. That video had around 100,000 views. Once again, not a news story at all. I sent it to all the press and to the police and everybody, you know, and you know, there's 100,000 people know about it, but a lot of people don't know about it. And that happened in this alley. Happened actually, you know, running from the direction of that church right there, you know. Also right there next to that church is another home, has a water well and had a brick mortar problem right next to the church. And I wondered if that is another one. Straight ahead is this telephone pole. My home's the one with the newer fence here. Straight ahead is this telephone pole right here, and I noticed that there was a Suddenlink coax cable that went down the pole and went underground. Okay, and I traced all the lines for the homes, and all of them went above ground. So I knew that that underground cable didn't go to the homes. Okay, and I contacted Home Depot, and I went up several levels, management, IT, etc. They guaranteed me they didn't have Suddenlink going to their building, which is this direction to the other direction right there. Okay, and so it doesn't go to Home Depot, it doesn't go above ground, but it goes in the ground. right here on the left in my backyard is where it looks like and believe one of the 4 underground homes is located. One of the 4 3-bedroom $1 million underground homes, at least 25 foot deep, and that's where it's believed that these parties were going on, the oil show parties. And then another woman said pedophile parties were going on underground here. But I want to point out that Suddenlink cable on that pole right there. On the other side of that pole right here, there's that missing tree and the 2 side-by-side manholes. We looked at them a second ago, and they got them all staked out right now. And once again, you're going, and I felt like when they took the live tree outs when they did the cover-up in 2014, 2015, and it's like I was getting a lot of attention with the videos because there's so much evidence here, and and instead of investigating, solving murders and stopping the crimes, they tried to cover it up. So I believe that the manholes lead to nowhere now because they covered it up. And here I want to show you on the right hand side down there. It's real easy to tell that where it was tunneled under. You can see where there's a row of bricks missing and a layer of concrete at the bottom, starting at this column and going down 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. Large section that was all new concrete laid on top there on the foundation from down there to down here. So they dug under it, and even that telephone pole right there looks like they hit it with a backhoe when they was digging. And and of course I'm looking here, and they're breaking the miles over and over and over again, and with these multiple people saying tunnels, etc., underground homes, all of that. And so I wanted to show you that. This is a different way to show you, is driving around, but what we did confirm was it's 5 minutes from my home over to the Home Depot, and remember, my friend, and today is the first time I've ever released her name. I was hoping that she would come forward, and I'll tell you another story. I was at work and during this week, and she's real tired, and we was outside smoke break back when I smoked, and there was a safety guy in our building. I worked in Claydesta 10 named Carl, and he comes up to her right in front of me, very rude, and he says, I got mine last night, and she just cowered in shame, and so I really believe, if law enforcement investigate Carl will tell you what was going on underground, because I believe he knows. And then another person that was a contract landman for my company, Donna Meadows, I overheard her ask Angie there, says, what time did you get home last night? And Angie says, about 3 o'clock. And then at least I knew Donna knew about everybody knows about them underground parties, everybody does. But she knew Angie was there. And so anyway, this buddy, talk to you later.